Just give me a minute. I'll share the screen. Okay, can you see the screen?
Yes.
Yes, yes,
Okay, can you hear me?
yes, yes. Ma'am, Shweta will be translating it for you in Tamil.
Okay.
And pause after a couple of lines so she can translate.
Okay, okay. So I take this great privilege to share on the occasion of Autism Acceptance Month. And the theme is Celebrate Differences. So as Sandeep had already introduced me, I just wanted to share that I have been in Ashish for past 7 years. And especially when I'm talking about autism, I should say that I'm still learning. And I'm not an expert, but what I know, I share. I also share something common with you, is that I'm also from Chennai, but have spent half of my life in Delhi and other places. So about Ashish Foundation, that we support children and adults with autism and developmental disabilities and their families since 2007. Basically to provide good things in life for them. And I will explain to you what this is. We have 3 projects. This is Ashish Center, which is a school program for children with from 3 years to 18 years. Good for 18 and above. And for advice about awareness, training, and workshops. So, how many of you have heard about what is autism? I'd like you to share in the chat box. Are you familiar with, have you heard about what is autism? Or have you heard the word autism? Yes. And how many of you know any person experiencing autism? I'd like you to respond. Yes. Mr. Ebenezer Paul says he has heard. Or known any person or friend or relative. Okay. Good. Oh, wow. Okay. Sure. Thank you. So all of you have heard the word autism and know people who have autism. So let's look at some of the myths and facts. I'm also playing a small quiz here. I'll put out the question and ask you whether it's myth or fact, and then I will share the answer. So let's go with this. You can share it in the chat box or unmute yourself and give the answer. Autism can be cured.
I think it's a myth.
Yes, it's a myth. There's no cure for autism, but early intervention and therapy can help manage traits and improve quality of life. So let's look at the second one. Individuals on the autism spectrum cannot lead independent and successful lives.
It's a myth.
It's a myth. Yes. Given proper education, appropriate education, many will live up to be successful contributors of society. Look at the next one. Individuals on the autism spectrum avoid social contact. Is it a fact or a myth?
Could be a fact, ma'am.
This is tricky.
Tricky as well.
Anyone else?
I think it varies with each individual.
Okay.
True.
I think it varies with each individual.
Okay. Is it a myth or a fact?
That's what it, when
it's
it
a-
varies, it can be
Okay.
neither.
Okay. It's a myth because individuals on the autism spectrum are often keen to make friends, but may find this difficult because of their sensory processing. And yeah. So we'll go to the next one. Individuals on the autism spectrum do not have feelings and thus are unable to show affection. Is this a myth or a fact?
Myth.
This is myth.
This is
They are
definitely a
very
myth.
lovable person.
Okay, all seem to know the
Show
answer.
their
Yes, it's a myth. They can show affection due to differences in sensory processing and social understanding. The display of affection may appear different from typical people. So let's go to the next one. Autism is something to be ashamed of.
No,
Well,
definitely
I'm sorry.
not.
I pressed the wrong key. Okay, autism, disability, or difference is never anything to be ashamed of. For many autistic people, autism is an important part of their identity. And a simple fact like hair color is just that each one of us are different. We'll go to the last one. All autism people are violent. Is it a myth? Okay. Somebody, Ebenezer said it's a myth. People on the autism spectrum are far more likely to be victims of others' aggression. Well, those who are having families or know somebody who's got autism will understand that it's because they can't express, they're communicating something. And when this frustration could cause, they may show bouts of anger or frustration, but often they're not violent. And in fact, many people are aggressive towards them. So I think most of you seem to know the answers. So let's look at what is autism. So it's an invisible disability, a developmental disability that can affect the way an individual relates to their environment and how they interact with other people. Being an invisible disability, which means that nothing about how people with ASD look sets them apart from other people without ASD. It is it's a spectrum disorder. Why is it said spectrum? Which means that no two people with ASD will present the same exact features of the disorder. So that means we say that if you see one person with autism, you see one person. Another person with autism will be different. While one person with autism may struggle to learn, another person with autism may do complicated maths at 3 years of age. While some people with autism may have trouble being touched, some others may like to hug. Affects person's interaction with environment and people. Abilities can range from highly gifted to severely challenged. Learning, thinking, and problem-solving abilities of people with ASD can range from gifted, very high-functioning abilities to severely challenged, very low-functioning abilities. While some people with autism spectrum disorder need a lot of support in their daily lives, whereas others need minimal support. A developmental disability that can affect the way an individual relates to their environment and how they interact with others it's mean that because of the common characteristics like difficulty in social communication, interaction, or restricted repetitive behaviors and interests, and different ways of learning and reacting. You may also have seen them flapping their hands or stimming or, playing with their fingers. Each of them have a different way of which manifests in them. Okay. So I would like to show, especially being Autism Acceptance Month, I would quickly go through a short, I wouldn't say story, just to present how we accept persons with autism. It's like I'm going to tell it like a story. This is about April. This month is Autism Acceptance Month, and about 18 million people in India are diagnosed with autism. Here are two of them. Let's call them Anmol and Asha. What do we know about them? We don't know much about them without meeting them. But we do know this. Like all human beings, Anmol and Asha need to belong. They need a community where they are accepted. To be accepted. What does it look like for us to accept Anmol and Asha in this way? First, we come closer. We may not be sure how to relate with Anmol if he does not speak. We may not understand his atypical behavior. But to accept him, we can make conscious effort to come closer and be with him. Of course, Anmol can choose whether or not to respond to that. He may welcome our presence right away, or it could take time for him to get used to us. Or he might walk away. That's okay. We can continue being present, providing an opportunity for relationship, creating an environment where he is welcome. Second, we get to know them as individuals. Learning about autism in general is not enough to learn about Asha. Mostly, we need to learn about her. What does she enjoy? What does she find distressing? How does she communicate? Observe, ask Asha, talk to her family members. Making an effort to know her shows her and her family that she's seen and that she matters. Third, we prioritize their needs. Loving Anmol means thinking of him as better than ourselves and looking out for his interests. We all have needs. Accepting Anmol means we prioritize his needs over our own. For example, Anmol may communicate literally. Why? Because most persons with autism are literal thinkers. So we can give preference to his way of communication. So we need to avoid using hints, idioms, or sarcastic humor. Instead, we can speak to him very directly and plainly. It may feel unnatural or abrupt to us, but we are putting this need for clear communication above our own comfort. Or consider the senses. For many people with autism, sights, sounds, and smells can be very intense. Something that is enjoyable to most people could be distressing and even painful to Asha. If we find that Asha is distressed by the perfume we use, we can avoid using it in her presence. If we learn that some sounds are irritating to her, we can try to minimize them. Prioritizing Anmol and Asha's needs means we don't insist that they change. It is we, those of us who are not on the autism spectrum, who make an effort to adjust. Since it is very difficult for Asha to engage in activities while sitting quietly, we can adjust and accept that she can still learn as she walks around. Because Anmol can become distressed by sudden changes, we can try to avoid surprises and to let him know what to accept. Is it overwhelming to participate in large gatherings? Then we can make sure to plan smaller gatherings, or we can arrange access to quiet space. As we learn what is helpful for each person, we can make a conscious effort for their needs to come first. And finally, we receive from them their gifts. When we receive Anmol's love of music and his knowledge of song lyrics, we are accepting him as a contributing member. Let's bend over backwards so that he can meaningfully participate in your community. Asha notices very small details and delights in putting things in order. So let's find creative ways she can contribute so that she can continue receiving the gift of her presence among us. There are individuals on the autism spectrum who are connected to us in our neighborhoods, like Anmol and Asha. They need to belong. We are incomplete without their presence. Will you accept them the way they are? Will you come closer? Get to know them? Prioritize their needs? And receive from them the gifts they have to offer. Let's become the kind of community where people with autism are accepted and fully belong. So, why do we celebrate autism acceptance? April is Autism Acceptance Month, formerly known as Autism Awareness Month. Autism Acceptance Month is meant to highlight the issues affecting people with autism spectrum disorder and their families, educate the public on support services, and celebrate and destigmatize the perspectives of those living with autism spectrum disorder. Given the prevalence of autism spectrum disorder, encouraging education, providing resources, and working to remove the stigma of autism becomes all the more important. As it has been for the last several years, the theme for the Autism Acceptance Month this year is also Celebrate Differences. This theme was created to promote acceptance and provide connections to necessary support and resources. So, what acceptance versus awareness? While awareness of autism is important, true acceptance goes beyond mere recognition of the condition. Acceptance involves embracing individuals with autism as valued members of the society and respecting their rights and preferences and autonomy. It is about creating environments where individuals with autism feel understood, supported, and included rather than marginalized or stigmatized. Impact of stigma and discrimination. The stigma and discrimination faced by individuals with autism can have profound negative effects on their mental health, self-esteem, and quality of life. For example, in education and employment, practices what normally people practice leads to social isolation, bullying. Barriers encountered by individuals with autism can be significant. So by promoting acceptance and challenging the stigma, we can create more equitable and inclusive communities where everyone has an opportunity to thrive. I'm sorry, Sandeep, I went ahead. Do you want any translation?
No, ma'am, it's okay. It's
Okay.
fine.
So, so what could each of us do? Developing positive, valued social roles to them in order to provide them good things in life. The role of beneficiaries, volunteers, interns, social workers, and professionals. As beneficiaries and volunteers, social workers, and professionals working in the disability field, each of us play an important and vital role in promoting inclusion and acceptance. Whether we are supporting individuals with autism directly or advocating for policy changes or raising awareness within our communities, our actions can make a meaningful difference in the lives of others. So one of the ways we do in our organization, in Ashish Foundation, is providing them with valued social roles to provide them with good things in life. So what are valued social roles? A set of expectations for people who occupy a given social position or status. Roles are a significant component of social structure. For example, if we say police is a role, a policeman, what does he do? He protects us and apprehends criminals. So another example I can give is about a mother who cares for and raises children, provides food and clothing, guides children in education and activities. So these are the expected behaviors. A teacher acts as an authority figure and manager of a group, providing guidance, knowledge, challenges, and supports students. A friend, role of a friend, they share social activities, create and maintain peer-to-peer bonds. Or for a daughter, she may care for her aging parents, create opportunities for intergenerational bonding. So we at the center, we provide friendships for our students. We are making peer groups so that they have friends, because persons with disability, and especially those with autism, do not have any friends. So we're making conscious effort, intentional effort to find people who can be friends with them. Also, we provide roles, age-appropriate roles for them. So as a young child, about 8 or 10 years, we look at what are the roles a typical person, a typical child, and in other words, a person who is non-disabled, what do they do? What are their roles in the society? As a child may have a friend, may play games, maybe is a student, and be a niece, a nephew, a brother, a sister. And so we provide activities for them that would help them to experience these roles in a full way. So I was just thinking, what are these good things of life that you think most people are hoping to gain? What are the good things of life we enjoy? Any response you can share in the chat box,
To have friends,
right? Have friends, going out with friends, very good. Yes, Sandeep. What else? What do you enjoy? Having a family. Freedom of mobility, yes. That should not stop them from going anywhere. Independence, right?
being understood,
Being understood. Yes, family. Carolyn says family. What else? Something very powerful. Employment. Yeah, being loved. Loving and being loved, yes. So we find that, providing valued social roles, we will see that this will ensure good things in life for all, for us, as well as for those with experiencing autism or those with disability. A place to call home, lifelong learning, meaningful work, intimate relationship, a sense of belonging, community contribution, valued participation, friends and family, good health, means of communication, financial security because of the job, and hope for the future. So in its simplest form, when we provide these valued social roles, if we want the people we serve to have full, rich, and meaningful lives, we can make this more likely by helping people have valued social roles that are individualized to the person. The good things of life tend to come to people who have lots of valued social role. For example, you see that a person, till they are working, and for a regular person itself, while till they are working, they have a lot of value. People respect them. And once they retire, their roles reduce, and they stop valuing them as much as they were at work. So similarly, even for those with experiencing autism or those with disability or any marginalized or stigmatized community, this is a very important thing that we provide them more valued social roles. not just for people with disabilities, but you can see this in our own lives. We can, as a direct support work practitioner, or those supporting with any people who need help or assistance, we can have this exciting chance to put these ideas to use, because this really impacts their life and their quality of life. Okay. So this is something which I wanted to share because we are doing this practically at our center. I would stop here for questions if you have. I think I have 5 minutes. Sandeep?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much, Shayana ma'am. It was such a nice presentation. It was so simple and easy to understand about the need for acceptance and inclusion. And